Hello again, it's Jess or JashiiCorrin, and today we're going to be having a look at my setup for April 2018 in my bullet journal. But before we get into that, I just figured we'd have a quick flip through of March to see how that turned out. So as I've mentioned previously, for March I was doing a collaborative theme with KM of Journal with KM. She's another planner related YouTuber and there's a link to her channel in the description box below. The idea was that we were going to use the same theme for the month, but obviously interpret it in our own individual way. So the theme we decided on was Seasonal Woodlands theme. For me this meant autumn, though for autumn in New Zealand, at least in March, it is still quite green, so my colour theme for March was also green. As you'll remember from my last monthly plan with me, my March cover page was inspired by New Zealand native flora. So we have New Zealand native ferns, Rimu tree inspired leaves, and then flax in the background. For my monthly calendar, I decided to split my events into work-related and social or personal related, though in general I didn't really end up using my monthly so much as the month progressed, so I will be changing this up for April. After this we had my habits and steps trackers. Although I really do love the way these look, the habit tracking was actually really difficult to fill in, so I'm going to be changing the habit tracker for April. For the steps tracker, however, I found this one a lot easier to fill in, so I will be keeping something similar. After this we had my daily doodles. So as you may remember, in February I really enjoyed having a prompt list to give me something to actually draw every day rather than having to think of something on the day. So for March I was really trying to find a doodle challenge that had been set up by somebody else in the planner community. However, when I went looking for one, I couldn't actually find one that had things that I wanted to draw. So instead, I got my friend Rachel to give me some doodle prompts and I listed those down the side here. You may notice, however, that I did accidentally draw an extra box for the month and then didn't actually leave enough space to write all 31 prompts. I'm not too sure what I'm going to draw on the 31st yet, but I hopefully will figure it out before the end of the month. After this we had my memories page, which was kept the same from February. Followed by my social media tracker, my time tracker, and then we jumped straight into my weekly pages. For the first week of March, I decided to try a Dutch door. For the second week, I tried my hand at watercolouring in my bullet journal. After this, I made a checklist for a major house cleanup that we need to do. Followed by a vertical weekly. My current weekly. And my setup for next week. To finish the month, I also have my regular monthly review, though I haven't decided on what boxes I actually want to put in here yet, so it's not quite finished. Before we jump into the time-lapse, I just wanted to mention that, as per usual, I have links to any of the equipment used in today's setup in the description box below.
My first page for my April setup is a cover or splash page, just so that I could welcome the new month in my bullet journal. For this, I've again gone with that circle cutout with black outlining around the outside. To do this, I used my black Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pen in the size S. I really enjoyed having a monthly theme for March, so for April I've decided that my theme is going to be crystals. Although I don't intend on having the same amount of doodling on my monthly pages for April, I did want there to at least be some on my cover page. Drawing in all of these crystals was actually a really interesting challenge. I'm the kind of person who quite likes measured and ruled lines, however a lot of crystals don't necessarily adhere to that. Getting good variation in how each of my crystals looked was quite tricky for me, but I do like how this spread turned out. Are you doing a theme for April? I'd be really curious to know what it is. Let us know in the comment section below. Although in March I did doodling around the entire of the circle cutout, for April I've just decided to keep it to the top and the bottom of the circle. At this stage I don't have any intentions of going back in and doing the sides, but it is very likely that I may have changed my mind before the end of April. The next prep we have is my monthly calendar for April. As I mentioned previously, my monthly for March didn't really work out as well as it could have, so I wanted to change things up a bit in April. For this, I've decided to go with a traditional calendar layout with a section for my monthly goals / to-do list and also my upcoming events on the side. Again, I'm just using my Pitt Artist pen, this time in the size F, to do the outlining of the calendar. I'd also like to apologise for the brightness in some of these shots. The auto brightness on my phone wasn't really having a great day. For the outlining of my April title, I'm again going in with the Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pen in the size S. To continue my crystal theme, for the page title, I'm breaking up the thicker part of each letter using small irregular triangles to mimic the pointed edges of crystals. Underneath my title for April, I'm also putting in a quote that says, "Never let perfection be the enemy of progress." I felt this quote was really applicable to my life right now because I've been putting myself under a lot of stress trying to make things more perfect than they necessarily need to be. To continue with the crystal theme for the month, for each of the initials of the days of the week in this spread, I put a little diamond as the background. To fill in a little bit of extra space, I also go in and put some little diamond motifs down the bottom as well. For those of you who are familiar with Planning with Kay, you'll realise that this spread was very heavily inspired by her setup for April. She's another awesome planner related YouTuber, and there's a link to her channel in the description box below. For the majority of the colour in this spread, I used 4 different Tombow dual brush markers in the colours 535, 515, 452 and 451. For the words perfection and progress in my quote, I used a Staedtler Tri-Plus fineliner. For the diamond motifs, I knew I only wanted a very transparent wash of colour, so I used the N00 Colourless Blender Tombow to pick up the blue from the other markers and brush that over each shape. I then used the same technique to get an almost watercolour effect on the boxes for my monthly goals and my looking ahead section. To finish off the spread, I just went back in with the Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pen to write in the numbers of each day. Next, we have my habits and steps tracking pages. For April, I've decided to try something new with my habit tracker, so I'm putting in mini calendars for each of the habits I'm keeping track of. For this one, I again used the Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pen for all my outlining, and then went in with my Tombow dual brush markers to do the backgrounds for each of the habit spaces, as well as the title coloration. To outline the end of each habit title, I went in with the same Staedtler Tri-Plus fineliner that was used on the last page. For my steps tracker, I'm doing a similar thing to March and sticking with the circular tracker. In March, the length of each segment indicated how many steps I had done that day, and I'm sticking with that general idea, but instead of just having a lined pattern through each of those, I'm instead going to be drawing each segment as a crystal. Up next we have my social media tracker, which is just the same format as it was in March. I found this was really helpful in holding me accountable in terms of actually posting when I say I'm going to, and making sure that I had some kind of a plan in terms of the content that I was putting out. When I was using the colourless blender on my monthly page, I found that I was actually making the page a little too wet and did get a little bit of bleed through. So for the watercolour effects on this page, I instead decided to use my Pentel Aquash water brush. Following this, we have my memories page. This is just a simple calendar grid with the regular title. For my final spread, we have my daily doodles page and a gratitude log. In March, I didn't include my gratitude log, and I found I actually did quite miss filling it in every day. So I've decided to bring it back for April.
So for the final flip through, we have my April splash page, followed by my monthly calendar. We have my habits and steps tracking pages, as well as my social media calendar. Following this, we have my memories page, my daily doodle page, and my gratitude log. Thank you for watching. If you had any thoughts, comments or feels, please do put them in the comment section below. And if you liked today's video, please do make sure to give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't already, you can subscribe to my channel to see the videos I release every Thursday and Sunday. And until next time, bye!